Thank you for staying tuned to Smart 24 Television, where we believe in smart business. The show is called Smart Business. My name is Jane Kasumba. We believe at Smart 24 or S24 Television that most importantly, you must get the necessary business information and financial information so that you can make the best financial moves and ensure that your life is prosperous. Below me, of course, in the squeeze box, you'll be able to see all the commodity rates as and when they're changing. I'm never alone in studio, and today I'm joined by my co-host, Anthea Ibembe. Anthea, how are you?
Lovely Friday morning.
We know for a fact that in Uganda we have a situation whereby you have very many people who are young, such as Anthea Ibembe. And most importantly, people like Anthea are able to generations is because at the end of the day, you, Anthea, you make the majority in Uganda.
Yes.
Yeah, you do make the majority in Uganda.
We make the 80%, so...
Is it 78%?
78, but, you know, we're never really sure about the statistics. They're ever changing, so yeah.
Yeah, 78% is made up of the youth. So we ensure at the end of the day that you're able, to make sure that you're able to have the necessary financial information that you need, whether you're a person who's above the age of 30 or whether you're a person who is as young as Anthea Ibembe. Without further ado, let's talk about the commodity prices. I know they'll be up on your screens shortly. Can we have the commodity prices, please?
35,000 Ugandan shillings. Exotic chicken goes for 13,000 Ugandan shillings. Local chicken at 30, a margin of 17,000.
Yeah.
And exotic eggs at 10,000 Ugandan shillings. Local eggs at 25,000 Ugandan shillings. And a turkey is still at 85,000
Uganda shillings.
Just like yesterday.
Just like yesterday,
Tilapia, a fish actually, is 15,000 Ugandan shillings, and processed honey taking a dip to 12,000 Ugandan shillings.
And meat?
Beef is 10,000.
Okay, there you have it. That's pretty much Nakasero market. We will be getting more markets as and when we see them. And of course, Matoke being quite high at 35,000 Uganda shillings. We've taken you now to Nakawa market. Matoke is at 30,000 Uganda shillings. Exotic chicken is at 13,000 Uganda shillings. Anthea, watch the local chicken at 24,000 Uganda shillings.
Yes.
Exotic eggs at 10,500 Uganda shillings. Local eggs, quite expensive here.
Local eggs
30,000 Uganda shillings.
Sure.
Turkey is a bit less than what we saw at Nakasero.
15,000 less.
15,000 Uganda shillings less, at 70,000 Uganda shillings. Tilapia is a bit higher at 20,000 Uganda shillings. Meat is at 11,000 Uganda shillings.
1,000, it's negligible.
Yes, and of course processed honey at 15,000 Uganda shillings. Why we always tell you as Smart 24 Television, you must endeavor as much as possible to ensure at the end of the day that you have what is necessary in order for you to make the right decisions. Make sure that you have a notepad or an iPad so that you're jotting down these prices. Can we have the next market rates now? Yes.
So in Kalere market, a bunch of matoke is 22,000 Ugandan shillings. I think that's the lowest we've seen today.
Yeah.
Exotic chicken is 13,000. Local chicken is also quite affordable. It's at 25,000, and exotic eggs at 12. Still the lowest we've seen for exotic eggs today. Local eggs, a tray goes for 20,000 Ugandan shillings. A kilogram of beef is 11,000 Ugandan shillings. Processed honey rising by 1,000 to 13,000 Ugandan shillings, and turkey at 75. I think this is the average of the three we've seen so far, and tilapia staying stagnant at 15,000 Ugandan shillings.
So there you have it. We've shown you three markets so far. We've shown you Nakasero market, we've shown you Nakawa market, and we've shown you Kalere market. And for those of you who are looking for matoke, that is the least for matoke that we've seen so far. 22,000 Uganda shillings as and when we speak. And pretty much that is what it looks like. Now, Anthea, for someone who's at home at this particular moment, how is it that how would they plan their shopping perhaps for today before we go to a window market?
I think if the transport costs for you, it's all in the proximity. If the transport costs for you are not very high for you to go to Nakawa market, which was the the most affordable, I think you're better off doing your shopping at Nakawa Market because that's where we saw the best prices. Steer clear of Nakasero and Kalere because you might find, and also if you're buying in bulk, you might want to opt for Nakawa Market, from my opinion.
From your opinion, but most importantly, again, I said that the rates are still on the screen for you, and so that you can compare. We can see right now the Nakawa markets for other commodities, be it posho, be it tilapia, and of course now we're also having the petrol and fuel rates, petrol and diesel as well. So most importantly, Anthea, when you are shopping, when you're doing a budget, when do you think people should budget? At the beginning of the week or at the end of the week?
I think at the beginning of the week.
Why?
So that it guides you.
Yes.
In my opinion, what's the point of budgeting at the end when you've already spent, unless you're budgeting for the next week? So
yeah,
it's technically at the beginning of the week, that's when it's most logical and guiding.
So you're still seeing all the necessary rates that currently on your screens. You can see those from Kalere, from Nakawa, and they're changing in real time. Our reporters are always out in the field ensuring that you're getting the necessary commodity rates as and when we get them here on Smart 24 television. Also, of course, we have our news right there on the squeeze box, so you can be updated with our top news constantly. Fresh food is always very important, isn't it, Anthea?
It is.
And you find it quite expensive. Of course, we have our reporters all across the country, and we'll be bringing you the different rates from northern, eastern, central, and of course western Uganda. But most importantly, do you find fresh food in Uganda affordable?
In comparison to other countries, we're doing great. The prices aren't so bad, but then again, still we find that if a tray of local eggs, a local tray of eggs is 30,000, and then exotic eggs are 13,000. There is the 17,000 counts for something. It's quite a lot. Mainly if somebody is doing business, 17,000 is a big margin.
17,000 is a big margin indeed. So you've seen the commodity rates, the market rates this morning. Just remember, on Smart 24 television, we always bring you what is necessary. Now, we have to go into real estate because that's quite important. Many people are buying homes as we speak. Many people spend a lot of money during the beginning of the year to make sure that they put down their money or invest their money in a property that's perhaps near them, or the property that they think will increase with value. You know, Anthea, you know the best place to keep your money at times is not in a car. You know that.
Yeah, it is.
As a young person, you know that.
I know that part. I mean, I wouldn't want to know it, but I do. Because if you're investing your money in property like land or a house, that only appreciates, and with a car,
time,
it's more of a liability over time. You find that you have to spend on it. So I'm all for real estate.
You're all for real estate. So let's check out the real estate rates right now.
Vision City. One of the most fabulous estates in East Africa region is Vision City. Located Upper Hill, Kigali, Rwanda, only 6 kilometers from Kanombe International Airport and 3 kilometers from the CBD. This project sits at 157 hectares, of which phase 1 of 504 units is completed. The next phase will be composed of town center, shopping malls, food outlets, banking services, schools, and more. This flagship project is from Rwanda's largest real estate developer, Ultimate Developers Limited. The newly built Vision City that blends modern design with classic elegancy has the breathtaking city view where luxury meets lifestyle. This self-sustaining, impressive neighborhood is blended with the state-of-the-art security. uninterrupted electricity with backup generators, water reserves that can last up to 6 months, pre-installed fiber optic network that will keep you connected 24/7, and the other amenities such as asphalt roads, pedestrian walkways, street lamps that allows you to jog even at night, secure open parking, a number of your favorite sports courts such as basketball, tennis, and more. Safe public spaces for relaxation, bus parking as your little ones goes or comes back from school, and an amphitheater. This biggest housing project in Rwanda to date is a high-end residential and commercial development, ranging from 5-bedroom luxury villas, 4-bedroom luxury villas, 3 and 4-bedroom semi-detached, 3-bedroom townhouse, and various range of apartments that are currently on sale. These apartments that are surrounded with wonderful green yard range from 4-bedroom apartments, 3-bedroom apartments, and 2-bedroom apartments. A nice entryway leads you to the granite finished staircase if you live on the upper floors. When you enter any of the apartments, you're greeted with natural lighting coming from the full-size glass panel sliding doors, ideal in saving space that leads you to the balcony where you're surrounded by the magnificent Vision City Complex, Kigali CBD, and the horizon. A large contemporary layout joins the living room and dining room as you turn towards the kitchen that has gorgeous granite, stainless steel, lots of counter spaces for your cooking and dining needs, with cabinetry space that you can customize depending on your personal taste. The 4-bedroom apartments have 2 doors, the main one leading you to the living room, while the second one enters the kitchen area. As you enter the bedroom area with 3 bathrooms, a long corridor leads you to the 3 bedrooms. And at the far end is the master bedroom with a private bathroom. The 3-bedroom apartments have 2 bedrooms with 2 bathrooms and the master bedroom with its private bathroom. And the 2-bedroom apartments have 2 bedrooms with 2 bathrooms. These apartments comes with access to the rooftop, where you have a complete 360 view of the uprising city of Kigali's architecture.
Thank you for staying tuned to Smart Business. You're still tuned in to the show that gives you the best in business information. Of course, what we just showed you was some real estate in the heart of Kigali in Rwanda. Very well organized, very well planned, and that's what makes a property value increase for any property. And many of you who are watching this program today might be deciding that in this year, 2019, you're going to either build your house. I hope you saw the structures that we just showed you, the neatness of the compound. You saw, I think that the structure was amazing, the ring roads and everything. And you know, where you live matters a great deal. It increases on your health and it improves you as a person. So that's pretty much the real estate that we're showing you from Rwanda. Anthea Mbembe is still in studio with me. Anthea, nice place to stay, huh?
It's a pretty, actually fancy place.
And very organized.
Very organized. Such establishments and refined kind of settings are often seen in developed countries, and I'm proud of Rwanda for going that far.
And of course, most of those properties being valued at over 200,000 US dollars. They range from 200,000 US dollars to around about 600,000 US dollars. And of course, if you are thinking about perhaps building your house today, make sure that you get a plan, get your plan approved at the KCCA, and then thereafter commence with the necessary personnel in order to build your house. But please make sure that you plan. You know the old adage that failing to plan, huh?
Yeah.
You know that adage?
Failure to plan is failure to succeed or something.
Yes,
so,
something like that.
Yeah.
So make sure that you plan. If, for example, your New Year resolution is I must get a house, or I must build a house, or I must spend quality money on a good property, make sure that you do your research. And we at Smart 24 Television are going to ensure that you're able to get the necessary information where need be so that you can make that choice. And of course, Anthea, your take on some of the building facilities in Uganda, are they like that? Some of the courts or homes, are they like that?
Besides, I hate to be specific, Mirembe Villas, I haven't seen quite an establishment so organized. And I think you spoke about the price, ranging from 200,000 to 600,000 US dollars.
Yeah, and I some more, because remember they're brackets. They're homes that are like
smaller.
That have 5 bedrooms with ensuite bathrooms. Then there are those that are just apartments. Then there are studios. Yeah, so it ranges.
That's a very small price to pay for the security, the long-term security you're going to afford. You're paying also for the amenities around you, the proximity to schools, the proximity to telecom services, banks, ATMs, so
the supermarket, and
even the neighborhood. So I think it's a reasonable. It wouldn't be fair in the short run, because you might think, oh, I'm spending a great deal, but then in the long run, if you think about it, you are actually spending just enough. Because if you're in an unsafe neighborhood and your property is stolen, that costs you way more than you could have spent in the short run on the $200,000 to $600,000 or more.
Okay, so you've got it, and that's pretty much our real estate perspective, and we will be giving you more information as and when we get it on the latest real estate that is near all around you. Just remember, making an investment in property matters a great deal, and you can invest here in Kampala, you can invest in Gulu, you can invest in Mbarara, you can even invest in Nairobi or in Kigali or in Dar es Salaam or Dodoma. Most importantly, make sure that you're investing in good property and that you have a plan and that you have done your necessary research. And we, of course, as S24 will make sure that you get the necessary prices and show you various properties that are up for rent or up for purchase on this channel whenever we get them. We're going for a quick commercial break, but before we go for a break, I know, Anthea, we have some guests in studios today. We're going to be talking after this break in the market analysis. We're going to be talking most importantly about the music business and how you as a young person who's watching this show might decide to venture in the music business and the different segments and how you can make money from the music industry. Who are our guests today?
We have Miss Angela Katatumba.
Yeah.
A musician actually, and her manager and the rest of her team.
And the rest of her team.
Yes.
And also we do have Dan, and Dan Magic is one of the leading musical producers that Uganda has to boast of. So Dan Magic and Angela Katatumba are here, and that's pretty much Dan Magic. And of course, Angela Katatumba is also here. She's also going to be in our studios. So we're going to give you two perspectives. We're going to give you the perspective of a producer. How does a producer make money? in this business? And does he always have to make music that is sensational? If I walked to Dan Jazzy today and told him, I want a song, yeah, do I have to be controversial to make a sale? Then of course we'll be talking to Angela Katutumba. Angela Katutumba has been on the scene for a long time, to say, like, for example, around about 10 years or so. And she's one of the pioneer musicians in Ugandan music. And we're going to ask her, how different is her music and her career and her net worth compared to some artists in the US? So we're going for a quick commercial break. Anthony Mbembe and myself will be right back. Thank you for staying tuned to Smart 24 Television, where we believe in smart business. The show is also called Smart Business. I'm Jane Kasumba. I'm usually joined by a co-host. Actually, we have two co-hosts. We have Hannah Mbago and we have this lady next to me, Anthea Ibembe.
Thank you, Miss Jane, for introducing me the third time.
The third time, huh? But most importantly, what we're getting to now is the market analysis on music. We told you, if as a young person, or maybe as an adult, you might be thinking that, you could be the next Beyonce, and you want to be valued at around about 300 million US dollars. Well, there are ways to get there. And today we have two musicians who can tell us, the walk to that pot of gold, and that is Angela Katumba and of course, Dan Magic, one of the leading musical producers here in Uganda. We'll be talking to him after the break. And that's Dan Magic, and we'll be talking to him, of course, about the Red Beret and the fact that he, of course, is behind some political songs that are currently here, and that's Dan Magic. He's, of course, with Bobby Wine. You can see him over there. And most importantly, we'll also be talking to Angela Katumba after the break. Angela Katumba, of course, famed for a lot of her music. And of course, Anthea, if I can bring you in here, most importantly, government has a great program called the Youth Livelihood Fund. And of course, before, of course, we talk mainly about that producer that you're seeing on your screen right now, we're going to talk to, of course, Anthea Ibembe, and she's talking about the Youth Livelihood Fund. The Youth Livelihood Fund is a very important fund. The government of Uganda decided to come out with a fund that will assist young people all over Uganda in order to perhaps create businesses and find employment for themselves. The Youth Livelihood Fund falls directly under the Ministry of Gender. And here to talk all about that is Anthea Ibembe. Your take, Anthea, of course, on the Youth Livelihood Fund. What is it, and what can a young person get from it? And can it actually be used to finance someone's musical dreams?
Well, thank you, Miss Jane. It's quite adept that you pick a youth like myself to speak about this fund. So the Youth Livelihood Program, the YLP, it was started in 2013 by the government of Uganda to try and ensure that Ugandan youth have equal opportunities to get to compete with youth in other countries and also with people who have been employed a while. So,
Auntie, tell us the statistic of the young people in Uganda. It's amazing.
So we have 78% youth, and then 64% of those, according to the Uganda Bureau of Statistics, are unemployed. So you'll find that the government doesn't concentrate on having them join white-collar jobs. Instead, what the Youth Livelihood Program concentrates on is skills development, livelihood support, in that if technically I'll take you through how they do it.
No, because why we want you to look at the Youth Livelihood Fund is because there are young people who are watching today and they want to know for a fact that, I want to know if I can use that fund to finance some of my dreams. My dreams being, of course, none other than the Youth Livelihood Fund itself. I mean, being like, for example, if I'm a young and burgeoning musician, can I in some way use that opportunity at the end of the day, maybe to finance my dreams?
Yes, you can. And I have compiled 6 steps for you. So these are the 6 legal steps you go through to apply for the Youth Livelihood Program. A, you form a youth group. They usually give the funding to people who have formed groups. Now, some people formed groups as far back as 2008. So it's easier when you form a group with fellow youth and they can see that you're organized and you have a plan. Number 2, you go ahead and sign an interest form and you take it to the official in charge. Usually it will be at your sub-county, at your province, and you take it to them and you're like, I'm interested in this sort of funding and this is my project. Number 3, you write a proposal requesting for for the livelihood fund.
Okay.
You write down, how a proposal is written, and I think Miss Jane, we should do a segment on that, on how to teach young adults how to write a proposal, because that's something that's lacking. You write a proposal, present it to the person in charge, and tell them this is what I aim for, and this is how I'd like for you to fund me. This is how I'd spend on a monthly, and this is how I'd spend on a yearly. And then the fourth step is you have to come with a recommendation from your community, because if we don't do that, we'll have a lot of bandits deceiving that this is what they want to use the money for, and actually that's not what they're going to use the money for. So you come with a recommendation from somebody respectable, probably your local council chairman and your local council 3, whoever, a parent, somebody respected in the community who they can refer back to, and they know that you're not deceiving and you're not in actuality a lie. Then the fifth step is you make a plan for your project. You write down a plan, and so that you can show, due diligence. And the sixth step, you go for training. If at all they accept to give you the funding, you go in for training, and when they see that you're fit to receive the money, they give you the money. And it's not like they're giving you the money to do a white collar job. They're giving you the money to do what you think you can do as a group.
So
as a
let
youth
me
group.
ask you, Antia, so is it possible for a young person this morning who's watching this show to say that, you know what, I know these guys, Smart Business on Smart 24 television is going to, without a doubt, host two very important people in the music industry, Don Magic and Angela Katutumba. So can other young people go to this fund and say, you know what, I don't want you to finance for me to put up a pig farm. I want you to finance for me perhaps to have a recording studio and perhaps to start a music career. Is that possible?
Well, it should be.
Yeah.
It should be. In the past, many youth have concentrated on actually coming for funding in areas like farming, but I think the reason why people who are interested in music are quite scared to ask for this youth livelihood program funding is because they expect you to pay back. This money is given to you as a loan, so you're expected to pay back. And the thing about the music industry, as you may or may not know, Miss Jane, is that you can't pay back within a year, because you begin to pay back this money to the government within a year, because it's a public-private partnership. They give it to you, but at a very small interest. So within a year, you may not have remunerated enough. I mean, as you're going to discuss, look at the Beyoncés. It's taken them over 20 years in the industry to get to where they were. So they are actually today. So I think many people, when they weigh the pros and the cons of being in the music industry and asking for this kind of funding, they tend to back out. They're like, no, you know what, I'll sponsor myself, or I'll look for sponsors elsewhere that don't demand for me to remunerate and in turn pay back in the period of 12 months.
Okay, so there you have it. A good analysis by Antia Bembe. We've been talking about the Youth Livelihood Fund and how important it is for the young person in Uganda and how you can use that fund. Next week, we're going to have a person or a representative from the Ministry of Gender where that Youth Livelihood Fund is based. And we'll be talking about the Youth Livelihood Fund and how you, as a young person, are able, of course, to get what you necessarily need. After the break, we have Don Magic, a producer, and Angela Katutumba. They'll be talking about success in the music industry. Do you have to be behind the mic to make the money? Perhaps you could be just making beautiful music, sitting behind the dials. We'll be talking about that, how to make money, and how much money they've made. We're going for a quick commercial break. We're going to be right back. Thank you for staying tuned to Smart 24 Television. Without a shadow of a doubt, we have some interesting guests here with us today. Most importantly, our main guest is going to be Oyerwot Daniel Benny, aka Dan Magic. Dan Magic, as you're well aware, happens to be one of the leading music producers in the country. Well, Oyerwot Daniel Benny, famously known as Dan Magic, is a music producer at Medi Men's Studios. He was born on the 10th of October 1993 in Lira District to Mr. Chen Bernie and Miss Zaina Ochio. After his father passed away, while he was only 3 months old, his mother had to take over the role of a mother and a father to her son, since at that time he was the only one that they had. Having a social worker for a mother, they moved to Bunyoro land, where he has most of his childhood memories from. He had his primary in Masindi district, where he recalls having his first piano lessons. He spent most of his time at the Church of the Missionaries, headed by Bishop Agonza Charles, who had a son that would get piano lessons, and that's where Dan Magic would get lessons and practice when nobody was around. His mother was later transferred to Cheliandongo, where Dan acquired his secondary school. He went to Chigumba Intensive Secondary School in Cheliandongo, where he endlessly practiced his music career, and while there he visited Hosanna Records, headed by Mr. Tugonza Shafiq, who taught him a lot about production. With a combination like biology, chemistry, geography, ICT at high school, and any parent would automatically send his child for a medical course at the university. Dan's mother, however, sent him to a nursing school in Jinja to become laboratory technician. What his mother didn't know was that his dream was bigger than that. He wanted to be a sound master and would do anything to achieve this dream. He started diverting his tuition to go and learn more about music production at a radio station in Jinja. His first work as a music producer was with Evango Church Choir and Jinja Miracle Choir, all in Jinja. In January 2013, Dan knew what he wanted and therefore decided to join his childhood friend called Saint Peter in Kampala, who was already in the industry as a producer. After that, life was not the same for him again. Saint Peter introduced him to Eddie Awe, a musician, a producer, and songwriter whom he attributes all his success to till now. The Dream Studio owner gave room for his young talent to learn everything to do with music production. He went an extra mile of bringing professionals from Netherlands called Carl and Givant, who helped him gain skills in sound production. Still, mid-2013 was Dan's year because Eddie Yahweh decided to make him a lead producer for his Chiambe album, which he perfectly did. In December 2013, he had another great project that was also a success. He produced Good Life's Let's Go Home album. It was his super outbreak for his career. Famous producers like Paddy Man and Stoney Howes came up to help Dan Magic build more of his career. Since then, he has been the mastermind behind so many albums that would leave you absolutely breathless. His projects include David Lutalo's Ankutu album, Dr. Hildeman's I Am Love album, and he's also produced Bobby Wine and, of course, Irene Ntali. Well, as the saying goes, he has worked with pretty much everybody. He's worked with Navio, Rema, Big Trio, Lydia Jasmine, Keiko, and many, many others. As the saying goes, the rest is all history. He does not regret ever joining the music industry because currently he's one of the most talented music producers that has made a great impact on the Ugandan entertainment scene. At this moment, the sky can only be the limit. That is our guest for this morning. It happens to be Dan Magic, or Oyerwot Daniel Benny. That's your real name?
Yeah.
Okay, what's your real name?
Oyerwot.
Oyerwot?
Which means believe.
Believe?
Yeah.
Benny?
Daniel.
Daniel.
Yeah.
Okay, you are a music producer.
Yes, I am.
For a young person who's watching, because we have many young people who are watching this program, you know the statistics. My colleague on the show, Anthea Bembe, had mentioned the statistics. 78% of our population is made up of young people. And 72% of those, actually 78% are below the age of 30. 72% of those are below the age of 25. Yeah? How does the youth affect your music?
It's kind of tricky.
It's kind of tricky.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. When you're making music as a producer,
Yeah.
are you thinking in your mind that I'm making music for a young person?
Not really.
Or you're making music for everybody,
Not really. I make music for everybody.
regardless of your
Of the
religion?
age, religion,
Yes.
tribe. I make music for everybody.
So now there's so many young people who are watching this show and are saying, this is the Dan Magic, the Dan Magic.
Dan Magic.
Oh, they call you Sir Dan Magic.
Yes, Sir Dan
This
Magic.
is the Sir Dan Magic, who's only 25 years old.
Yeah.
And I want to be like him. I want to be as talented as him. Dan, how did you start?
As you've read in my biography, I
Yes.
started from a church.
Yeah.
My background was in a church.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's very
I
interesting.
used to play a lot of instruments.
Okay, what instruments can you play?
I play bass guitar,
Yes.
jazz drum, and a keyboard.
So first and foremost, you're telling a young person or anybody who wants to enter the music industry, it's important for you to know music to its core.
Yeah, the
How
basic.
important it is to learn an instrument?
It helps you a lot.
Mhm.
It helps an artist when you're singing. You can't be misguided.
Mm.
Yeah, when you're singing, you can know which chord to fall in.
Okay. Now you have a background in the church. Many artists have a background in the church. Be it Irene Ntale, and Irene Ntale
Yeah.
started in the church.
Yeah.
If we look at huge American musicians, most of them African Americans, most of them started in the church. How important is it to have that foundation, the church foundation, in your music? Or did you forget about it immediately? You became Dan Magic, the famous producer.
Not really. I didn't forget about it because even up to now, I still pray. I still go in church. It helps a lot when you start your musical career from the church, because in church there's a lot of singing. There's a lot of freedom of doing things related to art. Yeah.
So you were supposed to be a laboratory technician.
Lab technician.
Lab technician.
Yeah.
What made you divert? Did you finish being a lab technician and then you jumped onto music?
Not really.
Yeah.
I loved music since my childhood.
So lab technician work was just wasting your time.
That wasn't my passion. That wasn't my goal. Yeah.
So for young people who are watching today, how critical is it for you to choose your passion and your goal vis-a-vis maybe what you studied?
It depends. You might choose your goal wrongly because you've seen someone doing that.
Yeah.
But follow your heart in most cases. Follow that stuff you love most, and make sure you're creative. Make sure you depend on yourself personally. Yeah.
Okay, then after that, of course, you became, you were introduced to some very famous people in the music industry here in Uganda, and like they say, the rest is history. What does your work as a producer entail?
I produce, I create beats, I record artists. Yeah, I make sure the product I take out
So
is
for
marvelous.
so for a young person who's watching today, they might be saying that I want to be a producer, I want to be like Dan Magic. What does your work entail? Yeah.
Yeah.
When you step into the office or you step into your studio in the morning, what does your work entail? Because there's some people, young people in Uganda now, huh? They're always on government Mutiyambe, making noise. No, that is the truth. They're not working, They want Don Jazzy. They don't want the hard work.
Yeah,
they don't want
yeah.
to see where you've come from because you came from very far. But they don't want to see where you've come from. They want to see, the final product.
I know, but first of all, when you want to do something, when you want to be like someone, believe in yourself, believe in your dreams, believe in what you do best. Then at the end of the day, you'll be successful. Yeah.
You'll be successful.
Yeah.
Tell us some of the musicians you've worked with.
I've worked with Eddie Awe.
You've worked with...
Yeah, I can never
Yeah.
forget him
Yes.
because he's a key towards my career.
He's the one who groomed you.
Yeah.
Okay. Which other musician have you worked with?
I've worked with Dr. Hildaman. I've worked with Good Life Crew. I've worked with Afigo
How was
Band.
it working with Mose Radio?
It was nice. I enjoyed it. It was creative.
Was he very talented? Immediately you met him, did you say he's extraordinarily talented?
He is extremely. He was a talented, sorry.
What was his contribution to music in Uganda?
Mose Radio was a creator. There's something that he created in the entire music industry in Uganda that after he left, we still see that gap unfilled.
You see it and feel.
Yeah.
Okay. Most importantly, as we continue, which other artists have you worked with?
I've worked with Bob Wine. Yeah, I've
So
worked
I know
with-
you're one of the people behind the Bobby Wine music.
Absolutely, yes.
Now, someone might ask a question is, do you have to be sensational to sell?
Not really.
You
Not
as a
really.
producer, do you want people who are sensational in order for you to make a quick buck? Is that
Not-
important?
Not really, but it helps a lot in
It
most
helps.
cases. But you have to be creative. You have to discover talent as a producer.
Yes.
You don't need someone who is sensational to sell.
Okay.
You can start with a young kid,
Okay.
yeah, then you make it to the top, and that one values a lot into your career.
Other artists that you've worked with, I hear you've worked with Irene Ntale, is that true?
Yeah, I've worked with in a couple of projects.
Okay. So now a young person who's watching and wants this career that you have will be saying that we never hear about Don Magic. He's always a man behind the scenes who's making the music. Does that bother you?
It
Don't you want
doesn't.
Don't you want people to know who you are?
It doesn't. In fact, it helps me a lot. Yeah, it helps me a lot. It gives me freedom to walk wherever I want, to eat wherever I want, to do anything freely.
Because
It
they don't know
doesn't bother
they're in
me.
the midst of a celebrity.
Exactly.
Now, let me ask you a question. Have you ever turned away a young person? A young person has come to you and said, you know what? I want to sing.
There's no problem. I can easily welcome you. I direct you. I guide you because it's my work. It's what I'm supposed to do since I'm a producer.
But are there some people that you say, I'm sorry, you don't have the talent, you don't have the music voice, you don't have the ability to sell out concerts? Are there people like that?
Yeah, they are there.
And you tell them truthfully?
Yeah, I'm ever open-minded. But however,
Yeah.
I believe that everyone was born a singer. It's all about you to make sure that person produces the best. You guide the person. Yeah.
Would you say you make peaceful music or you make music that is... Huh? Are you one of those Kavuyo people? Do you make Kavuyo music?
I don't make Kavuyo music.
Yes.
What's Kavuyo music into your perception?
No, because you can make soft ballads, nice la 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 la, that kind of music, or you can make ra 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 raga raga music. What kind of music, or do you do all kinds of music, or are you the kind of producer who's looking for Kavuyo all the time?
Not Kavuyo. I'm just a versatile, creative producer. Creative producer, rather.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, most young people who are watching this station are of the view, yeah, that most importantly that producers or musicians are rowdy people. Are you a rowdy person?
Not really. I'm
You're
not.
not.
I'm down to earth.
You're down to earth and you're a peaceful guy.
Exactly.
Yeah. And you go home at the right time.
Absolutely, yes.
You're a responsible citizen.
Yeah, I am.
You
I have
are.
a national ID.
Okay. And
Yeah.
of course, now we want to know, how does it, because many young people who are watching now are not even, they don't care. Young people now in Uganda, they care about, there's this comment that says, sente ziriwa, sangawa sente zisangawa, huh? Funirawa. They like,
Mfunidamuwa.
yeah, they like, you young people, you like that statement, huh? Funiramuwa. You ask someone, please do me something, please do something for me. A young person in Uganda, please do something for me. And the person is like, Funirawa, sigenda kuchikola. I want to know, how does a producer make money? That's what people want to know now. How do you make money?
A producer makes money in many ways.
Yes.
It's not only all about sitting in studio and producing an artist. You have to be creative.
So let me get down to the knocks and cracks of the matter when it comes to music. For the albums that you have, for example, how do you get a cut from those albums? For example, let's take, for example, Irene Ntale's album. Would you get a cut from her success? And do they pay up front or they pay after the sales?
They pay up front.
Okay.
That is in Uganda. Yeah,
Because actually, in other places, it could be...
it could be different.
different.
Music industry in Uganda is different
Yeah.
from
How,
other countries.
how does it operate? Because there are young people here, and we are a business channel. Smart 24. We're not in politics. We're not in what? We're in business. Tuli wano okola sente, like what you say. Yeah?
Yeah.
Tuli wano okola sente. So now a person wants to know, yeah, how can I make money like Dan Magic? How does the music industry work? Because you cannot make money from something you don't understand. How does the music industry in Uganda work?
I know, but first of all, to correct you, everything we are doing right now is politics. Even business is politics. Our conversation is politics. The roads we move on, politics. So everything is combined.
It's combined. Okay.
Yeah. How music industry works in
Yeah.
Uganda is kind of tricky and very hard. So if you can't persevere and if you can't strive,
Yeah.
you'll never achieve out of it.
Okay. So now, as a producer, when an artist comes to you, they have to come with money.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Do they have to come with their song, or do you create the song for them?
It depends.
It depends.
Some artists are different.
Yes.
There's an artist who comes in a studio when he has nothing.
Yes.
When he has nothing, you reach in the studio, you have to create the beat, then we flow by your beat.
Yeah.
And there's that artist who comes with a written song or with an idea, then you start it from there. Yeah, there are those who come and jump on your created beats.
Okay.
already made
So
in the
give us a
studio.
rate, because it's a young person, a young artist, someone who's talented, or maybe an adult who says, you know what, I want to switch my career, I want to become a musician. And because Don Jazzy, Don Magic, yeah,
Sir
like
Dan Magic.
Sir Dan Magic, like Don Jazzy, who is a Nigerian, who's doing the same thing you're doing, yeah, invite every kind of person who has talent, yeah, and they can make them a star. What should a person do in order to come perhaps to you, yeah, make money from you and for you, yeah? What can they do? Do you allow anybody to come to you?
Obviously, but it depends on what character you are. You have to first of all believe in yourself before you step into something you want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, so a person who's watching now will say, so the producer, if I'm to make a song at your music production house, for example, how much will you charge me? Let's take, for example, me, maybe. I'm not interested in music and being a musician because I can't sing. But most importantly, if it were me and I came to you and I said, I'm a new person, I want to sing, I can't write, give me a song, I'll sing the song, yeah? How much would you charge me?
That's a tricky question, but in most cases, I don't handle that side. It's handled by the management of the record label where I work from. My work is just to be in the studio. When you've gotten an appointment, I work with you.
Okay, so now let's talk about the record labels in Uganda. Which are the leading record labels in Uganda?
Let me just, for the sake, call them record labels. I can name Swans Avenue,
Yes.
Phenon. To me, those are yet the only record labels we have in Uganda.
Which are structured.
Yeah, which are structured.
Okay. Has music contributed to the development of Uganda?
Absolutely, yes.
In what way?
It has promoted tourism in Uganda.
How?
For example, I can give you an example of Eddie Kenzo.
Yes.
After making a lot of hit songs,
Yes.
selling worldwide, so
Yes.
many people came to know about Uganda.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why do you think Eddie Kenzo has become such an international sensation? What was different from Eddie Kenzo and other people and other musicians?
Eddie Kenzo, first of all, he believed in himself. He strived hard towards his goal. Yeah, that I don't think a lot of artists do have.
They lose focus at
They
times.
lose focus
Okay.
in most cases. Yeah.
And also, because there's a big difference between the female musicians in Uganda and the male musicians in Uganda.
Yeah.
Your take on how female musicians manage their careers? They're not as aggressive as, let's say, for example, the big three. The big three in Uganda are Chameleon, Baby Cool, Bobby Wine. Yes. How is it different for a woman in the music industry?
It's kind of tricky for women in the music industry, and more especially in Uganda. They face a lot of challenges.
Yes.
But however, it comes with a lot for you to be a successful female artist.
Yes.
You have to have a manager, you have to have a perfect team. Yeah, because you won't handle everything, which is very different with a male artist. A male artist is very creative, aggressive,
Very aggressive, yeah.
can move anywhere at any time, can face anyone at any time. Yeah, which is very different from a female creature. Yeah.
Okay, so when you look back, what is your best body of work? If you had to choose a song, now I want you to give me a song, yeah? A local song, your favorite local song, and then also your favorite international song. And don't tell me that you don't have one.
I have,
Okay.
but however,
How is your favorite local song? What is your favorite local song?
my God. My God. I think
Special.
Not because I made it myself,
Yeah.
but it was my favorite.
That's your favorite?
Yeah,
Okay. What about a church song? Because you grew up in the church.
the church song,
Yes.
Lives.
He Lives. Okay. And an international song that you think is the best song possible?
Oh my God.
Your favorite international song? As a producer, you must be comparing and contrasting.
I think Pat Ranking's song is my favorite international song at the moment.
Okay. Okay. When you're creating as a producer, yeah, what do you wish people take away from your music?
When I'm creating as a producer, in most cases, I first of all listen properly unto the artist, the lyrics he's using. Then I create beats specific. I use specific instruments
Yeah.
for a specific word, for a specific. And I make sure when I'm producing, I put in all my best for my listeners, for my fans outside there to enjoy and feel part of what I've produced.
Okay.
Yeah.
And before we part, I want to know who's your favorite musician, locally and internationally?
That's a very tricky question.
Why is it tricky? Who's your favorite musician?
My
Local,
favorite
yes.
musician in Uganda is Bobby Wine.
And internationally?
I love R. Kelly.
You love R. Kelly internationally.
Yeah.
And which producer do you admire most here in Uganda and also internationally?
Internationally, I used to admire Dr. Dre and R. Kelly.
Yes.
Here in Uganda, I admire myself.
You admire yourself.
Yeah.
And then finally, you say you work with everybody.
Yeah, I work with everybody.
You work with everybody.
Yeah.
Have you ever worked with Baby Cool?
I've ever attended a studio session
With Baby
at
Cool.
Cream Studios. That was when he was making his Christmas song
Yes.
years back when I just started coming up from Dream Studios.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you were impressed.
Yeah, I was.
Okay.
Yeah.
And of course, you worked with Bobby Wine,
Yeah.
and you think he has immense talent.
Yeah, he has. Bob Wine is very talented. In fact, to me, when I'm to describe him musically, he's a true definition of music, dance, and drama.
And what about Irene Ntale?
She's absolutely wow.
Because I know she can play an instrument.
Yeah, she can. She's creative. She's vocally fit. She's talented.
Juliana,
Juliana is good,
very good.
very good.
Irene Mubiru, Namubiru, yeah.
She's also perfect musically.
We have Angela Katutumba here.
Wow. She's very good.
This is very good.
Yeah, she is.
And most importantly, Dan, people are watching you now, young people who are watching you now are saying, these are bano bebakoze sente. Kumulembe kwa government, bano bebakoze sente. Through the peace, you're the ones who've made the money. How much are you worth?
I can't explain my work.
Yes,
Yeah, I can't.
but you feel you're valuable.
Yeah, I feel I'm valuable. In fact, I am valuable.
You are not what you used to be.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been talking to none other than Dan Magic.
Sad than magic.
Sir Dan Magic.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's good, you know, to have a title. Because when you feel at the end of the day, yeah, that you've worked so hard, you don't have to wait for the Queen of England to give you that title.
Exactly.
You don't have to wait for the Queen of England to give you that title. All
Yeah.
you have to do is name it yourself. So,
No, I didn't name it myself.
Who
this
gave
time
it to
around.
you?
The people I do perfection to. The people I do the best.
Oh, the musicians. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay. So, on a parting note, is it a good profession to be a musical producer? You know, many years ago, people used to say, people who do music are, you know, people who produce music are super bayai. Now, things have changed. Music is now a big industry. It's a big profession. Has it been fruitful for you?
Yeah, it has. And it used to
No
be
regrets.
by then.
Because today you'll be a lab technician. Yeah? I think you'll be a lab technician, yeah? When someone has gone for a blood test, you're the one bringing the blood. Now, most importantly, do you have any regrets? No regrets whatsoever?
No. I don't
Yes.
at all. I don't. Music has connected me to a lot of people, to different things,
Yes.
which wouldn't be so when if I went the other way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dan Magic, or better known as Oyeret Daniel Brenny. Sir Dan Magic is what he wants to be known as. Producer who's worked with everybody from, you said, Baby Cool to Bobby Wine to Irene and Tale to
Afrigo
Giuliano
Band.
to Afrigo Band to everybody, to Navio, everybody.
Yeah.
You've gotten to know how it is to make money from a producer's point of view here on Smart 24 Television. We're going for a quick commercial break. We're going to be right back. Thank you very much for staying tuned to Smart 24 Television, where we believe in smart business. And as you know, we are the Smart Business Channel. We want you to have all the necessary financial information so that you can make the necessary financial decisions that can change your life. I don't think it's right for people to constantly say, government mutiyambe, mutiyambe, when at the end of the day, you're not doing your part. So let government do theirs and let us do ours. But most importantly, you and I, we make the government. So what is it that we're doing to make our lives better? Just remember here, right here on the bar, you can see the different stock changes in real time, be it Porsche or tilapia, Simpson, G-nuts or tomatoes, and their rates, and the petrol and diesel as they stand, from Total to Shell to Coal to City Oil to Mogas to gas to Petro City to Starbucks and to Oryx. So make it a point all the time to have an iPad, and better still to have a pen and paper and make sure you write down all the prices, because a smart businessman or smart businesswoman is the one who plans. So if you plan accordingly, you know where to fuel up, where to get your food, and of course where to get the other, and where to save, because we also have, courtesy of the Uganda Stock Exchange, we also have the various indexes and how they are trading from the Uganda Stock Exchange. Good morning, my name is Jane Kasumba. Anthea Bembe, who is my co-host, is still in studio with us. She'll join us after the break, but right now I'm here to introduce our next guest. Today we're talking about the music industry, how you as a young person, or perhaps an adult who's watching this program, who is interested in venturing into the music industry, and how you can make music, how you can make not just music, but money. Many people think it's the musician who makes all the money. However, there are very many people behind the line who make money and who make the music happen. Well, Angela Katatumba is my special guest. We're going to take a look at her profile, and then she'll be in studio with us after.
KC alongside Dana and the Great.
Angela Katatumba is a Ugandan songwriter and singer. She is the daughter of His Excellency Mboni Katatumba, a Ugandan consul to Pakistan. Angela is involved in humanitarian work and has been recognized especially for the For You Gulu project. She is one of the judges of the Airtel Trace Music Star competition. Angela is a twin and the only daughter among a family of 8 children. She went to Katatumba Academy for primary education, then Belmont Senior Secondary School in Victoria, British Columbia, Canada, where she obtained a public relations diploma. She went to Oxford Brookes University, England, where she got a Bachelor of Arts degree in Economics and Law. She also received a Master's in International Management Public Relations from the same university. Some of the awards that Angela Katatumba has received include the Chambogo Rotaract Award, Humanitarian for my For You Gulu and Climate Change projects in 2013, Diva Awards, Humanitarian Diva December 2010 and Role Model Diva December 2011, the Office of the Prime Minister of the Government of Uganda Peace Award for You Gulu Project September 2010, Record TV Uganda Women of Power Awards 2009, Buzz Teens Award Uganda Teens Role Model in 2007 and 2008, Kampala Rotaract Award Humanitarian Award for my For You Gulu project in 2007, and the Music Talent Show Awards for winning singer contests in Canada and Oxford in 1994 to 2000.
So there you have it. Our profile for the day belongs to Angela Katatumba. We want to know the story behind the musician, the net worth. You know, we're talking today in our market analysis about the music industry, how they make money. We had a producer before the break, Dan Magic, that is, Sir Dan Magic, and he talked about the various ways in which you, perhaps, if you're wanting to join the music industry, can make money from it. But today, we have a lady who's been in the industry and who's lived the tale for quite a long time, Angela Katatumba. It's always a pleasure to have you, Angela.
I am so honored, Jane. I love being a part of everything you do.
Are you sure?
Yes, I find you so professional.
Thank you.
such a beauty. Everything you do is just top notch. That's like when you call, I come running.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Angela. But
Thank
most
you.
importantly, we have this segment in Smart Business, which is a show that you're watching currently. We do this segment where we analyze particular businesses and how people make money from them. Because
Okay.
at Smart 24 Television, we're here to ensure that you as a viewer are able to get all that you need to make the necessary business decisions that you need. Perhaps today you are a person who's interested to becoming becoming like Angela Kadetumba and becoming a musician worth their salt. So there are ways in which you can do that. Angela, how did you start?
Well, I started, when I was on holiday, when I was married in the United States. But before that, professionally in Oxford, I started the hard way. I started doing music as a part-time job when I was doing my master's degree.
So that was your basic love.
That's always been my passion.
Yeah.
So I would like they would pay me about £300 a night at Punana's. So I started the hard way. I started with the live band. That is much harder than studio.
Yeah.
And then from there.
And at that time, you never thought it would be a profession. You never thought that you could live because you were
never
pretty well
thought-
educated.
Yeah. I never thought.
You never thought that this would be something that you'd get known for.
Honestly, I was surprised.
Yes.
I knew it was my passion, and I always did it when I was abroad. Yes, and got paid for it. But when I came to Uganda, my dad was like, since you love music, you've made us proud, you've got all the degrees, we're very excited with you. Do what you love to do music. I'm like, really? And like, just be decent,
Yeah.
and sing songs that change society, that impact people's lives. So that's how I started in the music industry. And
Okay.
before I knew it, now that's what I do as a profession.
Now, the music industry, for example, in the US and Uganda is very difficult. It's very different. Tell us how different it is, the two industries.
It is extremely different on so many levels. For example,
Okay, because someone can ask, because Angela, you can be Beyonce. You can be the Beyonce of Uganda. But is that possible with our music industry currently?
no, it is not possible in Uganda because people abroad, you have a management that are financially stable and equipped
And invest in you.
and invest millions in the product.
So now, what is the management? When we talk about the management, who are we looking at exactly?
The management would be in Uganda, I think.
No, for example, like let's take an international musician, for example.
Okay, like you'd look at Jay-Z.
Yes.
He has his management label.
Yes.
And he picks his artists and
Yes.
he invests in them.
So they can actually pay for your album
They
even
pay
before
for everything.
before it
They
comes
pay
out.
for the image, they pay for the promotion, they pay for the production of the music, they pay for absolutely everything. Your job is to, if you need to go to the gym, look good, go for photo shoots.
All the other things are paid for.
They are paid and they promote on every level. So they are, whenever they take an artist on, they invest immensely in an artist. And that is the biggest reason music there does extremely well, because you have huge financial backing. And in Uganda, you're your own backer. It's sad because if you're a musician, a lot of people come to the music industry thinking, oh my God, it's easy, I'll make money. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
If you do
It's
not
not
have
that
that backing
Yeah.
to invest in photo shoots, to invest in promoting of your music, to invest in, it's a huge investment.
Yeah.
And that's why you see a lot of musicians in Uganda starting and then they drop out because they realize it's not sustainable.
It's not sustainable.
Yeah.
So you're saying you can never make back your money.
In Uganda, it's honestly, not much, but that's not where my
Your core
bread is
goal
buttered.
was.
Yeah, it's not. If you're talking about business and making money, to me, music wasn't it.
Yeah.
Or music still isn't it. Music for me I've taken as a hobby because I realized you can't really make the money in Uganda.
Yeah.
To me it's like a big investment. When I have some serious money, I'm like, okay, let me do a song, let me promote, let me do everything, and I'm basically the management.
Okay, so how important, because I know you believe in this, the world has changed as we speak now. And of course, we're going to go shortly for a break shortly as we talk, of course, and come back to the issue of the fact that the world has changed, Angela. Before we go to the break, I want you to think about this. The world has changed.
Yeah.
It's no longer about looking for that 9-to-5 job. You must, at the end of the day, without fail, be able to be productive and be able to become your own entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You agree?
Yeah, I do agree.
Okay, we're going for a quick commercial break. We're going to be right back. you for staying tuned to Smart Business. This is a show, mid-morning show from 10 all the way until around about 1 p.m. every single day. My name is Jane Kasumba. I'm usually joined by a lady called Hannah Mbago and another lady called Anthea Ibembe. And of course, this segment is all about business, and we're talking about the music industry, and we're talking to people who've lived it. Before the break, we had Dan Magic, who happens to be a producer in Kampala, and today also we have a musician who's lived the dream, and she's here to tell us, and maybe you who's at home who wants to enter the music industry, the dicey music industry in Uganda or in Africa, what it's really like. Angela Katutumba is my special guest. She was with me before the break, and she still continues to be with me now. Angela.
Yes.
Do you have any regrets that you entered music?
Oh, no, none whatsoever.
Is it fruitful?
It is fruitful, depending on, everything is depending on what kind of money you expect.
Yes.
If you expect not that much, or if you expect a lot of money.
Yes.
Now, for me, who's grown up, I was lucky enough to be raised by wealthy parents, and my family is wealthy. So you can't expect me to understand the money in music compared to the actual money in the businesses and in my
Angela,
dad's.
you've never had a job, and this is
No,
something
I've
we
never.
had actually talked before the break. The world is changing, yeah? Issues to do with people finding a job are no longer the same. It's no longer like that. You have to
Unfortunately.
be an entrepreneur. Your take on that?
When I was in the States, that's the only time I worked. At the casino, Majestic Star Casino, and it was tough. It was good, but unfortunately, these days, everybody's expecting jobs to be handed on plates. For some reason, I you know who I blame? I honestly blame the education system.
Yeah.
I think that the education system is over-exaggerated, and people tend to build in people's minds, get a degree, get another degree, get a master's, get a PhD. And I faced it hard in the States when I was looking for these jobs because I was a young girl. And then, yes, I had all these degrees from Oxford and a master's, but they
also
wanted experience.
They wanted experience, and also
Yeah.
there's the issue of colorism.
Okay, oh yeah, all those racism and all that came into play. But the issue of experience I didn't have.
Yeah.
So there is a way we are spending too much time in education,
Too much time in the theory.
in the theory of education, and in the dreams and beliefs that, oh my God, when you get your PhD or the masters, you're going to the whole world, and that's what they used to tell us in Oxford too.
Yeah.
The whole world is going to be your oyster. Everybody's going to come looking for you. Everybody's going to, and it's not the case. And I'm very sure that is why there are so many people in Makerere on the streets, because they believe, oh my God, I've got these degrees, I'm now on a PhD level, and nobody wants you. And I take it to my experience as an employer.
Okay.
Trust me, we want.
Sorry, Angela, on that note, as
Yeah.
an employer,
Yeah.
for people who might not know, what is it that you do?
I run my dad's business as a hotel diplomat, and most of his properties, islands, and I do the court cases. I'm basically in the business world now.
Yeah.
So that's what I do. So running his business as an employer, what I look for, yes, I appreciate that you can speak some English or you can communicate, you're confident, but what I truly look for is experience.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing that was in the States. And unfortunately, that experience is not what is encouraged, because a lot of people are being sold the theory of go to school forever and ever and ever and ever.
Yeah.
How am I going to make money and, to handle my families if I'm with all these degrees but with no experience? And most companies are interested in experience.
Yes.
So I truly believe that is one of the biggest issues, and that's why it's becoming a rude awakening to a lot of people who are getting out of universities and are very unemployed.
And very unemployed. And of course, Angela has talked about something that's very, very important. The issue that the world has now changed. Even if you're a musician today, you can't just live on the music alone.
No.
That's in Uganda. And I know shortly we're going to be seeing the net worth of many of the musicians around the world. We're going to have, I think, Beyonce, we're going to have J-Lo, female musicians, and how much they are worth vis-a-vis how much Ugandan musicians are worth. Now, as you can see on your screen, Angela, that lady, Britney Spears, was at number 10 with 30 million. Celine Dion at 31 million US dollars. This is just money that they've made in the last 6 months. Helen Fisher at 32 million US dollars. I think a Ugandan musician can never dream of making this kind of money
the
in a
system
matter of
isn't
6
set up.
months.
No.
Well, Rihanna at 37.5 million US dollars. And all this is courtesy of Forbes and it's courtesy of Forbes and Just Music. Because remember, these people have a lot of endorsement deals.
Yes.
Jennifer Lopez in the last 6 months made $47 million. You can imagine.
Yeah?
Yeah, and she's at number 6. Lady Gaga, 50 million US dollars. And she's at number 5, and that's just from her sales of music. Do musicians ever get the sales in Uganda? Do they, once their album is sold, do they get back that money?
Honestly, no.
And there you can see Pink at number 4 with $52 million. And of course, at number 3, you can see Beyonce at $60 million. That is in the last 6 months or so.
Wow.
At number 2, you can see, and of course, this is courtesy of Forbes, Angela Taylor Swift at $80 million US dollars in the last 6 months or so.
Can you imagine?
Big money. Big money, yeah. And of course, at number 1, Katy Perry at $83 million in the last 6 months. Can you ever dream of this kind of money as a musician?
Abroad, yes. In Uganda, unfortunately, that's not going to happen until we understand that music is a business and people invest in music as a business and become managers and you know, use the product and say, okay, Angela Karatumba, we are going to take you on as an artist. Just look good. And go to the studio, make sure you can actually sing, make sure you can actually perform, practice on that. On this side, we do the business. Yeah. And they will promote you on every music platform there is worldwide and do absolutely everything, pay for everything. So it's a multi-million-dollar business and you get people investing millions of dollars. So until we have that in Uganda, we're going to continue making our 3 million shillings on the weekend or in Kampala for me and 5 million up country. Which is nowhere near compared to these guys' numbers. Yeah. So that is the hard reality. So we have a long way to go regarding music and business in Uganda compared to the States and other countries.
Angela, we had talked about issues of being an entrepreneur in your own right. For someone who's watching, they might not know that you're a very, very busy executive.
I think.
Yeah. What does your morning look like? I mean,
people are getting surprised.
Your entire day? No. She's quite busy.
My entire day is it's honestly business. It's I get up, I try to go to the gym, and then I come back and it's board meetings and it's court because there's the $1 million properties of ours that are in court that we have to chase up. It is following up on all the properties, the 200-acre island, the hotels, my dad's hotels, all the properties. So it's busy, it's meetings, it's networking. In the evenings, you're invited to these functions and cocktails where you network and discuss business, and it's business.
It's business.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy it? Do you enjoy your life?
I love it. I absolutely love it. I love it.
Where does music fall into your life?
Music for me, from the very beginning,
a nice recreational pastime.
Yeah, it is a pastime. But the fact is, music is my passion. I absolutely love to sing, and I love to do the live band, the live music. So I love that. That's my passion. I'll always do music, but the money I make is from the business side, which is needed to invest the music. Yeah. So it's not the other way around, unfortunately.
Now, for a young person who's watching and saying that I want to be like Angela Karatumba, how would you advise them?
I would advise them, first of all, to make sure they do have talent. You know, a lot of people think that everyone can sing, and unfortunately, that is not the case. Yeah. Yes, in the studios these days with auto-tune, trust me, everyone can sing. Yeah. But when you're talking the new game these days, which a lot of people in Uganda are now picking up on, a live band, now there's no studio, there's no auto-tune to back you up. There are no drums to drown you. People have to listen to you live. Yeah. That's a whole different ball game. So you have to actually have the talent. You have to have the passion. Yeah. And the investment. You have to have some money to back you up. But music, you have to have the drive and the patience, because you have to know that you're going to invest. You have to invest in a song, a video, invest in the promotion, invest in the name. Everybody else is out there and have a brand. How is your brand going to stand out? So it's a lot of planning and a lot of talent. So that's what people need to know to become a musician in Uganda.
How do you find young people in Uganda? As an employer?
As an employer, I find it's so sad.
First of all, how many people do you employ? How many young people do you employ?
Maybe a little over 100.
Okay.
At the hotel, maybe 50. At other companies, maybe 50, 52. So a little over 100. But I find the youth especially, and unfortunately my generation, is unemployable. I don't know why Ugandans have this, like you said, in Funirawa, they'll come, they'll beg for a job, you give them the job, and the first thing they do is do their business in your business.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you hire someone, and before you know it, she's like writing letters saying, now this is my business and your business. They don't think about their work. They're not passionate about their jobs. I don't know where Ugandans get this from. I find it so odd.
So you're saying young people, or majority of young people in Uganda these days want everything on a free platter?
Yes, I don't know why. I find it so odd that they don't believe in hard work.
Yeah.
They will give you the oddest excuses. Why are you late? I couldn't wake up.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you have an alarm clock? No. Like, nobody, there's that drive. Like, now me who grew up in the States and abroad and have worked with people there that are on it. If you say 10 o'clock means 9:50 or 9:30. Here they'll come hours later and they'll be like so nonchalant about it. And
Everybody is pretty much on a holiday.
Everybody's on a never-ending holiday.
But
And oh my God, my biggest issue, I have to say this one.
Yeah.
Somebody dies, or there's a wedding, or there's a party. Guess what? They have to go. They have to go for every burial. They have to go for every wedding. They have to attend every party.
So,
how would you run business?
Angela, you're saying you don't go for these functions?
I can't, because I'm the boss. But when you're working and you're employed, those you can't make weddings and all those optional in the middle of your shift.
Yeah.
You can't leave somebody's business, the business that you depend on for money and that we all depend on, is the first thing you run away from when you have an issue or a party or something. So there's this slacked mentality, and my dad always complained about it. And it's sad, but this is the unfortunate reality of business and dealing with the youth in Uganda.
Okay. So what
Not
can
all, the majority.
The majority.
Yeah.
So what can people do? A young person who's watching this program, or perhaps a person who's watching this program, what can they do to be that profitable, an ace employee, or profitable entrepreneur? Just like yourself.
Oh my God. A lot of people used to ask, Angie, you have rich parents. Why do you work? Why do you work? I'm lucky that my father instilled in me and my brothers a work ethic. Get up and work. Yes, you're rich, yes, you have everything, but get up and work. So you have to have it in you that you need to work, and you need to work hard. I work hard. Like, I work very, very hard. If there's a meeting, I'll be there. If there's court, I'll be there. If there's anything, I'll be there because I take it seriously. So if they could start by instilling in themselves hard work, seriousness, and time is money.
Yeah, time is money.
So you have to work hard. You have to get up. If you want music, work. Even there you have to work. In every sector you have to work. Even rich kids these days have to work.
Yeah.
Because the parents are relying on you to run the legacy. You're not going to run it by laying down. The responsibility is going to come on you, and you have to take it on, like I did, like my brothers did, and work our butts off.
Yeah. So there's no shame in hard work.
There is absolutely no shame in hard work, and my dad said every job is appreciated as long as it gives you money and you use that money to feed yourself, your family. That is work, and be loyal. People are not loyal in jobs. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I find it so interesting. And as job owners and employers, we look at loyalty.
And job creators.
We look at loyalty. Are you loyal? Yesterday a new place came up down the street. They've gone. Now, trust me. That is a person you'll never have back. And then they're very good at burning bridges. So invest in loyalty. Be loyal. Say, okay, I'm going to be here. And also understand your bosses. As bosses, encourage the staff. If you see that they've done something, obviously encourage and rise them to the ranks.
Yeah.
But it's if these youth can learn to be loyal, professional, hardworking, then the sky's the limit.
The future's bright.
Yeah.
Okay, and finally, Angela, for someone who's watching, before you part, what are your parting shots on how someone can change their lives around, economically speaking? What are those key pointers that a good businessman or a good businesswoman must have? Can you spend your money lavishly? Can you?
Oh no! Oh God!
Okay.
No,
What
no,
are the
no.
tips?
I love that. Let's start with that one.
Yes.
You have to value money. If you
Yes.
notice people who work hard for their money,
They value it.
they value it, and you'll not see us throwing millions. It doesn't mean you don't have it. Then again, also, we have too many responsibilities.
Yeah.
A lot of people will be like, I'm God too. So I'm like, really? And you expect me to throw money? Do you know how many employees that are under me? How many responsibilities I have?
So the first pointer
the
is
first point is
respect your money,
respect and value your money.
and it will respect you back.
Exactly.
And usually people who throw away the money in hoards they haven't worked that hard for it. You believe that?
They imply, that's the implication
They-
they give,
yes.
because if the way I work hard for my money, there's no way I'm going to throw it around, tossing it to everyone. So that is the implication you give, which is not the best implication, because you want to give, you're now announcing to the whole world that there's somewhere where you're getting free money. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Which usually is short term.
Yeah.
It's not a long term plan.
Okay.
So that's
Secondly,
the first one.
That's the first one. Respect and value your money.
Respect,
Secondly,
value your money, to work hard for your money. You know?
What does work hard mean?
Get up. If there's an appointment, go for it. If there's an opportunity, run for it. You'll be so surprised. People say, Munanga, I have nothing. I need a job. I need this. An opportunity comes. Okay, Angie, we need to do this. Are you like, Munanga, you know, I was going to the village. I was going to meet my grandmother. I swear to God, you'd be surprised. These are the excuses. You're like, but yesterday you were here telling me you needed a job.
Yeah.
And you know,
when the opportunity, okay,
grab
if
the
you
opportunity.
need- So first of all, you said value your money. If
Yeah.
you respect you back.
Yeah.
Secondly, make it a point.
Yes.
When an opportunity arises,
Grab
take
it.
grab it, take it head on. Yeah.
You lose absolutely nothing.
No shame in hard work. Yeah.
Absolutely no shame
And then
in hard work.
thirdly,
Thirdly is, oh yes, you have to plan. You have to plan for your money. They say, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
and that's I think that's the quote we were trying to get earlier on in the morning. if you fail to plan,
You plan to
you
fail.
plan to fail. Yeah.
So money is going to come. Okay, fantastic. The money is here, and it does come. When you work
does
hard
come,
for it,
yeah.
when you value it, trust me, it does come. Okay, this is the money. What do we do now? Oh my God,
What
let's
is-
go party.
What is your strategic plan? Yeah.
Exactly. You have
Most
to have a
importantly.
plan.
Yeah.
Now there's court cases. There are lawyers who demand millions. Have those. They're the employees. They're plan for your money. Plan for the future.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's not about money came, let's spend it, then tomorrow we're broke.
Yes.
You have to plan, you have to invest, you have to save.
And fourthly, finally, what do you think about the issue of the people around you? Is that important?
Oh, very important. A lot of people, well, that is extremely important. My parents always taught me to learn to value my own time and my own company. And if you are to have friends, they have to be friends of value.
Friends who build you.
Friends who build you, as of course you have to also, it's a two-way street, you have to build each other, but you have to have friends of value. A friend who will say, you know what, we've got this amount of money, let's do this, let's invest it here. Those are the kind of productive friends you want, not the ones who are encouraging you, my dear, last night I heard it was going down here. You know, watch out for those ones. You want those ones who multiply, if you have 10 million, who will multiply it to 30 or 50. So you have to be very, very conscious about the friends and the circle you keep.
Okay, on that note, we're going for a quick commercial break. Angela is leaving us. Thank you, Angela, for
Thank
coming.
you.
It's always a pleasure.
Thank you,
But most
sweetheart.
importantly, remember the 4 pointers that Angela gave us. Most importantly, respect your money. It will respect you back. There's no shame in hard work. Make sure that you work hard. And of course, when the opportunity comes, grab it by the horns. And fourthly, surround yourself with people who build you and you build them in turn. Thank you for watching. We're going to go for a quick break. We'll be right back. Smart 24 Television, where we believe in that smart business. And smart business is quite important because we believe that you must make the right financial decisions and business decisions so that you're able to make the right financial choices. Just below me here are the rates, petrol and diesel. Then we go, of course, onto the various forex rates and also the USD rates and the commodity prices as they are trading. This information is with us every single day without fail, especially in this channel, Smart 24 Television. Most importantly, if you're interested in advertising on this screen, kindly wait for our numbers at the end of every single program. Anthea Bembe is here with me in studio. We're going for the health segment now. Anthea, today I know we're discussing something that's pretty important. We believe that once you take good care of yourself, at the end of the day, you spend less. However, if you're not taking good care of yourself, you end up paying more. So we always are health conscious here on Smart Business, and Smart Health is our segment. Anthea, tell us a bit about the disease we're going to look at today.
Well, thank you, Miss Jane. Today, the disease at hand is diabetes. So, a lot of people don't know that because as Ugandans in our accent would call it diabetes. It's pronounced diabetes, and it has types. It has the most common being type 2.
Yes.
And then there's type 1 and pre-diabetes and gestational diabetes. That's making it 4. And as I will elaborate, with type 2 diabetes, you have the body producing very much sugar. Yes. And then with type 1, you have the body, the pancreas producing very little insulin. Then with gestational diabetes, you have a situation where a mother is expectant and her blood sugar levels go up. And then pre-diabetes is usually where somebody's system is tending towards the high diabetes, the type 2 diabetes, but is not quite there, and in most cases and almost always leads to type 2 diabetes.
What are the symptoms?
So if you have diabetes, you always feel when you need to see, you need to see a doctor when you feel very thirsty. You're urinating more frequently than usual, particularly in the night.
So when you talk about thirsty, what kind of thirsty are we talking about? Your normal thirsty, or every single minute?
Every single minute you feel the dire urge to take a drink, mainly water, and it's never satisfied. You need to see a doctor then. When you're always feeling very tired, like you just execute a few tasks and by 10 a.m. Everybody knows she's off. That's just when you need to. That's when you know you need to see a doctor. When you're losing a lot of weight and muscle, it calls for you to see someone.
I mean, you're not exercising. All of a sudden, you're
just starting to lose weight, and that's not your aim. Then itching around the penis or the vagina, or frequent episodes of rash. That's something to watch out for. And a lot of people would misconstrue that for a UTI, urinary tract infection. But then most times if it's combined with the thirst and the urinating and the tiredness and the weight loss, you must visit a doctor and speak about diabetes, because these are the signs. So if you also, most times people who have diabetes, not that I have diabetes, most times people who are suffering from diabetes, they suffer from blurred vision. You realize that you need to go for eye screening, and most times they'll tell you, oh, your blood sugar is low. And then when you visit a dietitian and a physician other than that, the eye specialist, they'll tell you, oh, the eyes were being caused by the diabetes. It affects also the eyes. And lastly, when the wounds, when you get a cut or a wound, it takes very long to heal. That means the platelets are not coming up as, I don't want to take you into all the science.
No,
but,
please go ahead.
The platelets are not coming up to, cover up everything and cause a scar, which, ultimately should protect you. So that's when you know you need to.
What can someone do to stop diabetes?
Well,
to reverse diabetes, or perhaps, I know there's particular medication. What can someone do?
First off, I want to discourage the idea that diabetes can be permanently reversed.
Yes.
What you can do if you've been diagnosed with diabetes is control measures. So you're going to find that you'll do a lot of exercise. I'm not saying sleep in the gym or spend all your time, doing road work or anything, but make sure that if you have these signs and symptoms that I've mentioned, you're doing 30 minutes at least of exercise on a daily. You're eating right. And again, I caution that people with diabetes need to stay very far away from alcohol and coffee. Now, coffee in particular, because diabetes is linked to high blood pressure. Coffee raises your blood pressure. And when your blood pressure is high, your sugar levels are going to be high. And coffee is known, coffee is a drug, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
Very few people, it's a stimulant. So when your blood pressure is crazy high, you might not want that for your diabetes. Stay away from coffee, as harmless as it seems. Stay away from alcohol. Eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. There's particular vegetables that are known to lower diabetes and high blood pressure. Garlic, ginger.
Garlic is always good.
Honey, the combination of those, they're quite strong. Beetroot, you might want to include those in your diet on a very regular basis. You will feel better.
Green and leafy.
Anything green and leafy, anything brown and organic.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, thank you very much, Anthea, on that lesson on diabetes. And for those of you who are watching, we usually take our health very, very seriously here on Smart Business because we believe smart health translates to smart business and smart wealth.
True.
True. We're going for a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. for staying tuned to Smart Business. This is Smart 24 Television, where, of course, we ensure that you're able to get all the necessary financial information that you might need. My name is Jane Kasumba. Anthea and Bembe is with me in studio. Anthea, of course, we always have a segment for sport, and today we're going to be looking at the life of Arthur Blake. You know anything about Arthur Blake?
Yes, I know about the Blake family. They are actually quite big in sport. It's where one of my biggest role models, she's Margaret Chigozie, the CEO of Pepsi Cola, actually comes from, but she of course married into the Chigozie family. It's a very big family, mainly in motorsport and in the Olympics. So that's something I'm very glad we're speaking about. They have quite generations
of sportsmen.
Of sports, yeah, because they have up to like a 7-year-old doing motorsport, and she's a girl, so that's quite remarkable. She's called Isabella, and I've been following her on the internet a lot, so I'm excited that we're speaking about Arthur Blake.
So, this is Arthur's story.
Have you ever wondered why some people are more talented than others? No one can ever buy talent, borrow, or even force it because it's a natural gift from God. Arthur Blake Jr. is the most talented and greatest competitive motorcycle rider in Uganda and East Africa. Blake was born in 1976 to Mr. and Mrs. Arthur Blake Sr. He is the fourth born and only boy in a family of 7 children, something that led Blake to getting lots of attention. Blake went to Jack and Jill Nursery School, Katatumba Academy, and later joined Macquarie University, where he attained a bachelor's in business management. Arthur later on attained a degree in mechanical engineering, just like his late dad. I didn't like the course, that's why I decided to do mechanical engineering later on, he says. Blake always wanted to become a doctor and cure all the sick, a dream he didn't achieve because of the love he had for motorsport riding. I love motorsport racing because of the enthusiasm and inspiration I got from my dad and Uncle Paddy Blake, he says. Besides motorsport riding, Blake is a practicing engineer and a car rally driver. From 2000 to 2003, I was into car rallying, but decided to give it a break since I couldn't concentrate on 2 sports at the same time. Blake is married to Noella Blake. The two met 12 years ago at a casual function, and God has blessed them with 2 boys who love motorsport as much as their father. Arthur has nurtured his 2 sons, Alastair and Paddy Blake, into the sports. On her part, Noella feels comfortable about Arthur's kind of job because she believes in her husband's professionalism and knows she has the best protective gear. Nevertheless, she worries about their little boys, especially when they overspeed. Arthur Blake Jr. is a 9 times national champion and an 8 times winner of USPA's Motorcyclist of the Year. With all these accolades, he feels he hasn't achieved all he wants yet. When I started motocross, the sport had seriously fallen out of Uganda and we had limited resources which couldn't allow me to get the international recognition I desired. I feel I was cheated during this time. If I had the right bikes and protective gear, I would have shined above the sky. However, he considers the awards a major achievement which he believes no one has ever won or will win in the sport. To win this big takes a lot of guts, enthusiasm, hard work, passion, sacrifice in terms of time and money, and also being ready to take the risk. Blake doesn't take his success for granted. He credits God, whom he calls his biggest inspiration and helper. He prays more than he trains because it's only God who has seen him through thick and thin without complaining. Arthur also credits his late dad Blake Sr. and Uncle Paddy Blake, who not only inspired him but also held his hand up to achieving his biggest dream. Arthur's memorable moments don't go beyond motocross because it runs through his veins. He remembers some years which have really been tough for him, like 2010 when he was competing against Asaf Naten, where he won by a very small margin. Year 2012 wasn't an easy one for him as well. Competing with Maxime Van P, a 70-year-old, is not easy at all. He's very aggressive and good at his game. He has no responsibilities and no one to worry about. When asked about his regrets in life, Arthur said he only regrets about not being exposed to proper competitive motorcycle riding while at a tender age. For this reason, he is giving his sons the best training there is so that they can start soaring while still young. I want my sons to win awards both locally and internationally, Arthur said. According to Arthur, motorsport is very expensive and one has got to sacrifice more time and money in order to succeed. The higher one goes in the sport, the more costly it becomes. You need brand new machines, kits, protective gear and training time, which are a great challenge. Accidents are another thing to worry about when in the sport, because if you get many injuries, your performance will be affected. However, the skill gets better with time, which teaches one to control or minimize accidents. This is why when starting this sport, one has to be extra careful to minimize injuries. Blake advises the young people out there who love the sport and probably want to take it on in future to be patient and expect instant breakthrough. Like the saying goes, Rome wasn't built in one day. He says they should also work hard, have passion for the sport, devote their hearts to it, and be ready to sacrifice all it takes. Blake says indeed no one should join motorsports unless they really love it and are willing to take it to the next level, considering that it's picking up at a very fast rate. Blake says indeed no one should join motorsports unless they really love it and are willing to take it to the next level, considering that it's picking up at a very fast rate. According to Blake, at this point, motorsport only needs serious and passionate people so that they can help it rise to the level of football and rugby in Uganda. Despite his busy schedule as a rider, husband and father, Arthur manages to find time for the gym where he works out with his wife. He also swims with his wife and kids. Blake intends to retire this year and return to car rallying. He will also be riding for fun rather than competition and plans to use much of his retirement time training his little champions.
Thank you for staying tuned to Smart Business, and we wish you enjoyed that feature on Arthur Blake. And we have very many segments in the Smart Business Show, and of course we usually get people to inspire you and maybe so that you can be able to follow the same decisions or paths that they've followed. And you heard Arthur Blake retiring at a very young age. Huh?
Yes, I people are actually retiring quite quickly, Miss Jane,
and enjoying life.
I think it's because they made enough money, made the right smart business choices in their early years.
Okay, on that note, Anthea Bembe and myself have to bid you adieu. Anthea, what do you want your parting shots? What are your parting shots today?
Well, because we had...
What did you take away from today's show?
Yes, we had Angela Katatumba, and I was quite inspired by someone who's so easily misconstrued as just a dancer and singer and a party girl, but then she's actually a mogul, you know?
Yeah.
She's a CEO, and her dad left her in charge of a very big empire, and she seems to be running it quite well.
She seems to be on top of it.
Yes, so I'm inspired by, if you can go back and watch the interview with Angela, you'd have to see that there was a lot she had to share about doing smart business and being very clever at your game as a woman.
As a woman, and how to be smart. And most importantly, as we part, just remember some of the life lessons that we've taught you in this show. We taught you 4 key issues and principles in business. The first one, of course, being the fact that you need to respect money and it's going to respect you in return. Secondly, there's no shame in hard work. Work hard. You know, they say kolango mudu.
Kolango mudu.
Yeah.
And when I
Yango
was studying, my dad always said, "Mwana wange somango munaku." You know?
Yeah.
So yes, kolango mudu.
So that was the second lesson we learned, and then the third lesson was make sure, of course, that you're passionate about what it is that you want to do. Plan, because failing to plan is failing to succeed. And finally, the last one that we learned is surround yourself with the right people. Good tips, huh?
Good tips. And very easy, actually.
And very easy. On that note, we have to bid you adieu. We're of course, leaving you with the rest of our regular programming here on Smart 24 Television. You've been watching Smart Business. Thank you for watching. From Anthea Bembe and myself, goodbye.
Have a great weekend.
kuli nang'andawo ku Mwafu stage jangu tukufunira omulimu emitala w'amayanja obwa security guard, drivers, cleaners, waiters and waitresses ate mmwe bamaidi ebyammwe byateredde dda ne bw'oba olina passport oba tolina jangu nga bw'oli gwatwetaaze kuba ku simu zino wammanga noti 7 nkaka mu 8 19 noti emu oba noti 783 14 55 noti 6 moto yaffe egamba nti your job is our pride.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tomas Sali, and I am a first-year full-time MBA student and director of today's first panel discussion, Latin America, Banking on Innovation and Technology for Financial Transformation. Over the last few years, Latin America's financial landscape has been on the brink of significant transformation, with technology firms deploying even more innovative platforms, venture capital flowing to fintech startups, and government placing increasing importance on financial inclusion. The stage is set for disruptive business model to transform Latin America's traditional banking sector into something beyond our imagination. Our speaker will share their ideas on how to respond to this call from action from various perspectives, including traditional banking, venture capital, and technology. The distinguished speakers on these panels are Mrs. Kate Ambrose. She is the President and Executive Director of the Latin American Private Equity and Venture Capital Association. Mr. Walter Bailey. He is the current Chief Executive Officer of Banco del Crédito del Perú, known as BCP, the largest bank in Peru, and Chief Operating Officer of Credicorp. In April, Mr. Bailey will lead Grupo Credicorp as the new CEO. Mr. Eduardo Urdapilleta, a UCLA Anderson alumnus who is the Executive Vice President, Chief Deposit Officer, and Chief Marketing Officer of Bofi Federal Bank. The panel will be moderated by Professor Bhagwan Chaudhry, Professor of Finance at UCLA Anderson. His recent teaching, research, and applied interests are in the areas of microfinance, financial technology, and impact investing. Over the last several years, he has supervised several MBA student projects in microfinance and fintech. He also teaches a course on blockchain. Please join me in welcoming Professor Chaudhry and our distinguished speakers. Thank you.
Thank you. It's a great pleasure to be here among such a distinguished set of panelists. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask each of my panelists a series of questions so that we can first learn about who they are, what they have done, and then we will jump into a conversation about the topic today. So let me start with Kate. Kate started as a journalist, and she writes a lot. I hear you write a lot. You write for CNN, Bloomberg, Fox Business. You also teach a class at Wharton. Tell our students how important it is to write.
I do not teach a class at Wharton. I am a guest lecturer at Wharton on emerging markets, private equity, and Steve Samet's emerging markets, private
equity. That's okay. We call that teaching.
Good.